When does a renowned actress, celebrated for maintaining composure under intense scrutiny, step onto a broadcast stage anticipating routine promotion, only to discover herself ensnared in television's most calculated character assassination? What unfolds next captures the instant Nicole Kidman finally hit her threshold and unleashed a response so precise and devastating that it rendered Joy Behar utterly speechless. Before we dive in, please hit that subscribe button and tell us in comments what you think caused Nicole Kidman to completely lose it on live television. November 12th began as any standard publicity circuit morning for Nicole Kidman. She had a new psychological thriller requiring promotion, already generating Academy Award speculation. The View booking was confirmed weeks prior, a routine checkpoint featuring gentle inquiries about wardrobe choices, ensemble chemistry, and behind-the-scenes anecdotes. Nicole entered the building ahead of schedule, dressed in an elegant ivory ensemble, utterly oblivious that Joy Behar had spent the entire morning excavating 10-year-old conversations and unconfirmed whispers, assembling ammunition specifically engineered to annihilate her reputation. Regular View production staff detected something unusual. Joy arrived exceptionally early, abnormally concentrated, gripping a folder overflowing with printed materials. She barely acknowledged her fellow panelists. Whoopi Goldberg, detecting brewing trouble, attempted questioning what was developing, but Joy dismissed her with a forced smile. The cosmetics team exchanged worried glances. They'd witnessed this expression previously. Joy was stalking prey. The studio audience filed inside, thrilled to witness Nicole Kidman personally. The recording devices activated, and Nicole Kidman strode onto that platform with the elegance and self-assurance that had established her as one of entertainment's most admired performers, entirely unaware she was advancing directly into a carefully orchestrated trap. "Welcome to our show," Joy commenced, her tone saturated with artificial warmth. "Nicole, it's absolutely wonderful having you join us." Nicole positioned herself comfortably, reciprocating the greeting with authentic warmth. The initial 7 minutes progressed exactly as anticipated. They explored the new production, the intricacy of portraying a woman experiencing psychological collapse. But those observing Joy carefully could perceive the transformation. Her jaw contracted. Her inquiries began carrying a sharp edge that made the studio audience shift uncomfortably. "You know, Nicole," Joy stated, and her inflection had transformed entirely. She leaned inward with predatory focus. "I was examining some of your archived conversations last evening. You've been rather outspoken regarding your political perspectives across the years, haven't you?" The studio temperature plummeted. Nicole's expression faltered momentarily, but she recovered seamlessly. "Well, I believe it's essential for individuals to remain engaged with their surrounding world. But when I'm present to discuss a production, I attempt keeping the emphasis on the creative work." Joy's laughter was piercing, deliberate. "Oh, but certainly you cannot simply deactivate your convictions when it's convenient, can you? You've delivered some considerably forceful statements about particular political personalities, about what performers should and shouldn't accomplish with their platforms." The trap was being positioned. "Joy, I'm genuinely here to discuss the production," Nicole stated, maintaining her composure but unable to conceal the slight tension in her shoulders. "The viewers can determine what interests them, can't they?" Joy responded sharply. "I'm simply curious about this tendency you appear to possess, speaking out passionately when it benefits you and then withdrawing when someone actually wants to examine those positions." Whoopi attempted intervening. "Perhaps we should discuss the remarkable ensemble Nicole collaborated with." "No, absolutely not," Joy declared, gesturing Whoopi away dismissively. This represents the kind of dialogue that carries weight. She pivoted back to Nicole, eyes gleaming with malevolent intent. You stated that remaining silent makes individuals complicit. Do you still support those statements? Or was that simply another instance of Hollywood moral posturing? The expression moral posturing landed like a physical strike. Nicole's azure eyes went glacial. I'm uncertain what specific statements you're referencing, Joy. But I've consistently attempted to communicate honestly about matters I care deeply about. Oh, please, Nicole. Joy's voice elevated. You criticize the sector for insufficient action, but then when circumstances become serious, you're right there, collecting your compensation and maintaining very careful silence when it actually carries consequences. The studio descended into absolute silence. Nicole inhaled deeply. Joy, I believe there might be some misunderstanding occurring here. I've consistently supported causes I believe in, both publicly and privately. Joy's voice dripped with sarcasm. Really? Because from my perspective, it appears like you select and choose when to possess a conscience based on what's most convenient for your career. Nicole's eyes flashed, the first genuine crack in her composed facade. I apologize, but I'm not going to remain here and have my integrity questioned based on some distorted interpretation of past conversations, taken entirely out of context. Distorted interpretation? Joy reclined with a satisfied smirk. I'm simply identifying the inconsistencies in your public persona. That's what journalism is designed to accomplish, isn't it? Journalism? Is that what you call this? Nicole's voice carried genuine disbelief. An ambush? Joy, I arrived here in good faith to examine my work, and you're attempting to manufacture some kind of controversy where absolutely none exists. The tension was now so concentrated you could slice it with a blade. Joy was beyond listening, having detected vulnerability. Oh, Nicole, if you believe asking difficult questions is creating controversy, perhaps you're not as committed to those elevated principles you're constantly lecturing everyone else about. Nicole's hands, clasped in her lap, had gone white from pressure. You know what, Joy? I've been conducting interviews for over 3 decades. I've sat across from some of the most challenging interviewers in the business, genuine journalists who actually understand how to ask challenging questions without resorting to personal attacks. I can distinguish the difference between difficult questions and a hit job. This isn't journalism. This is something else entirely. Joy's eyes illuminated with malicious pleasure. A hit job? That's quite an accusation. Perhaps the problem is that you cannot handle being held accountable for your own words and choices. Perhaps you're just not accustomed to being challenged by someone who isn't intimidated by your fame. Accountable for what precisely? Nicole demanded, her voice rising slightly. For having convictions, for caring about matters, for not being the silent, compliant puppet you apparently anticipated me to be? Joy leaned forward aggressively. Let's discuss specifics then. 3 years ago, you gave an interview where you said, silence in the face of injustice makes you complicit. But when that scandal broke out involving your production company's investors, those investors with very questionable business practices, where was your voice then? Nicole's face went pale. That situation was completely different. There were active legal proceedings involved. My lawyers explicitly advised. Oh, how convenient, Joy sneered, cutting her off. Legal proceedings, the perfect excuse for selective activism. Tell me, Nicole, how do you sleep at night knowing you profited from those investments while lecturing the rest of us about moral responsibility. The other hosts looked absolutely mortified. Sonny tried desperately to redirect. Perhaps we could examine Nicole's extensive philanthropic work, but Joy cut her off dismissively. No, Sonny. I believe our viewers deserve to hear Nicole explain how she reconciles her public statements with her private business dealings. Nicole's composure hung by the thinnest thread. Joy, what you're doing right now is exactly what's wrong with media today. You're taking incredibly complex situations, stripping away all nuance and context, and presenting them as simple black and white moral failures. It's not just dishonest, it's dangerous. Beneath me, Joy's voice rose to a near shout. I'm not the one who built an entire career on playing the virtuous leading lady while making backroom deals that contradict everything I claim to stand for. At least I'm honest about who I am. Honest? Nicole laughed bitterly. You call this ambush honest? You invited me here under completely false pretenses. You prepared this attack without giving me any opportunity to respond properly. This isn't honest, Joy. This is cowardly. The word hung in the air like an explosive device. Joy's face flushed deep red. Cowardly? Did you just call me cowardly? I've been asking the hard questions in this business for longer than you've been playing dress-up for the camera, sweetheart. Don't you dare condescend to me, Nicole snapped back, finally letting her fury show fully. I've worked my entire career to be taken seriously as an artist and as a person. I fought battles you can't even imagine just to be seen as more than a pretty face. And I am not going to sit here while you try to tear all of that down with your tabloid journalism tactics. Joy stood up, pointing an accusing finger. I'm exposing the hypocrisy of Hollywood elites who lecture regular people about morality while living by completely different standards. That's real journalism. The only fantasy here is your delusion that what you're doing serves any purpose other than feeding your own ego and bitterness, Nicole replied, her voice ice cold. You're not exposing anything. You're just bullying someone because you can. Oh, please spare me the victim act, Joy mocked. You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You have teams of publicists and lawyers, and you want to play the victim. Money doesn't protect you from character assassination, Nicole replied. And that's exactly what this is. You've taken rumors and half-truths and presented them as established facts to ambush someone who came here in good faith. Joy's mask slipped completely. I'd call it accountability, Nicole. Something you're clearly not used to. Accountability? Nicole's voice was incredulous. Joy, you haven't asked me a single legitimate question this entire time. You've made accusations. You've implied wrongdoing without providing evidence. That's not accountability. That's a hit piece. Joy sat back down. Let's talk specifics then. You criticized actors who stay silent, but when that scandal broke involving your production company's investors with questionable political connections, where was your voice? That situation involved active legal proceedings, Nicole said, a tremor beneath her words. Speaking out publicly could have compromised ongoing investigations. How convenient, Joy sneered. Tell me, how do you sleep at night knowing you profited millions of dollars while lecturing us mere mortals about moral responsibility? Sonny tried desperately to salvage the situation. Perhaps we could discuss Nicole's UN Goodwill Ambassador work. Joy cut her off with a dismissive wave. No. I think our audience deserves to hear Nicole explain her contradictions. Nicole's patience was exhausted. Joy, you're taking complex situations, stripping away all context, and presenting them as moral failures. It's dishonest and dangerous. Honest? Joy's voice rose. I'm not the one who built a career on being the moral compass while making deals that contradict everything I stand for. At least I don't pretend to be something I'm not. Nicole stood up now with commanding dignity. Joy, you haven't asked me a single real question. You've made accusations disguised as questions. If you can't see the distinction, maybe you shouldn't be sitting in that chair anymore. Joy shot to her feet, face contorted with rage. Don't you dare tell me how to do my job. I've been hosting television shows since before you were a household name. I don't need career advice from someone who thinks being pretty is a qualification for having opinions. The studio gasped audibly. Being pretty? Nicole's voice shook with rage. I have been working in this industry for over 3 decades. I have produced films that change conversations. I fought for women's rights on screen and off. I've used my platform for women's rights, children's welfare, domestic violence prevention, UN humanitarian work. If you want to reduce all of that to being pretty, then you're even more shallow and bitter than I thought. Shallow? I'm shallow? Joy was shaking with anger. You're the one who married a country music star for publicity and acted like it was some great love story. You use your children and relationships for publicity when it benefits you. The studio gasped again. Nicole went completely still. When she spoke, her voice dropped to an ice-cold whisper. Now you're bringing my personal relationships into this. My marriage, my family. Joy, that is completely out of bounds. What kind of journalist attacks someone's family? Joy doubled down. I'm just pointing out the pattern. Everything in your life seems perfectly calculated for maximum public benefit. Your marriages, your children, your political statements, even your charities. My children? Nicole's voice was deadly quiet. Did you just question my relationship with my children? Joy, I don't care what professional issues you have with me, but if you think you're going to attack my family and question my relationships with my children, you are sorely, dangerously mistaken. The other host frantically tried to get Joy's attention, but she was beyond reason. I'm just saying that for someone who claims to value privacy, you certainly know how to use your personal life for publicity when it suits you. Nicole took a step toward Joy's chair. You want to know what suits me, Joy? What suits me is not sitting here listening to some bitter, washed-up talk show host take cheap shots at my family because she's jealous of my success and the fact that I've actually done something meaningful with my life beyond passing judgment on everyone else. Is that what this is really about? Professional jealousy? Jealous? Joy's laugh was hysterical. Of what? Your fake marriages, your manufactured image? Trust me, Nicole. There is absolutely nothing about your life that I envy. Then why are you so obsessed with tearing it down? Nicole demanded. You've spent this entire interview trying to destroy my reputation based on nothing but speculation and gossip. If you're not jealous, then what drives this kind of vicious behavior? Joy's mask fell away completely. You want to know why? Because people like you make me sick. You waltz around acting like you're better than everyone else. But underneath it all, you're just as fake as every other Hollywood phony. At least I'm honest about being difficult. At least you're honest about being difficult? Nicole's voice was incredulous. Joy, do you hear yourself? You just admitted on live television that this entire attack was motivated by personal animosity, not by any journalistic principle. You've confessed that you ambushed me because you don't like me personally. That's not journalism. That's bullying. Whoopi made one last attempt to salvage the situation. Ladies, maybe we should take a commercial break. No, Nicole cut her off firmly. I'm not taking a break. I'm done. She turned back to Joy. Joy, you've shown everyone watching exactly who you really are today. You've demonstrated that you're willing to abandon every principle of journalistic integrity just to settle some personal grudge. Joy was screaming now, completely out of control. You want to know what's sad? Watching America fall for your act year after year. What's sad is seeing someone with no real talent get handed everything because they look good in a dress. Nicole shook her head in disgust. You know what, Joy? I came here thinking I was going to have a professional conversation about my work. Instead, I walked into an ambush orchestrated by someone who clearly has serious personal issues. I'm not going to dignify this circus with my presence any longer. She began removing her microphone, her hands perfectly steady, despite everything. Joy panicked. Running away, Nicole? That's very typical. When things get tough, you just disappear. Nicole turned back one final time. I'm not running away from anything. I'm walking away with my head held high from a toxic situation. The viewers can decide for themselves who looked more credible today, who behaved with dignity, who maintained their integrity. Credible? Joy's voice cracked desperately. You're the one who couldn't answer simple questions. Simple questions? Nicole's laugh was devastating. Joy, you didn't ask questions. You made accusations. You insulted my family. You questioned my integrity without evidence. You admitted this was motivated by personal dislike. That's not an interview. That's character assassination. And I refuse to participate for even one more second. She handed her microphone to a stunned production assistant and walked toward the exit with perfect dignity and grace. Joy made one last desperate attempt. This is exactly what I'm talking about. When confronted with the truth, you just walk away. Nicole stopped at the edge of the stage and turned back one final time. The truth, Joy? The truth is that everyone watching this can see exactly what happened here today. They saw a professional actress come to promote her work, and they saw a host attack her personally, viciously, maliciously, for reasons that had nothing to do with journalism and everything to do with personal animosity. So let the audience decide who was telling the truth. Let them decide who behaved professionally. Let them decide who maintained their dignity. With that, Nicole Kidman walked off the View set, leaving Joy Behar standing alone, red-faced, visibly shaken, clearly unable to process how badly she had miscalculated. The other hosts sat in stunned silence. The studio audience was speechless. Not a single person clapped, and the cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of Joy's humiliation. Within minutes, #Nicole Kidman and #The View were trending worldwide. The footage would be replayed millions of times. Media ethics professors would use it as a case study. And years later, people would still remember the day Nicole Kidman stood up, walked away, and in doing so, won a battle she had never wanted to fight. If you found this breakdown revealing, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into moments that define our media landscape. What do you think? Did Nicole handle this perfectly? Or should she have responded differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.